Sterling Norris is an attorney with Judicial Watch and a former top prosecutor in the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office. He was astounded when he discovered the fact that the LA Superior Court judges, employees of the state of California, were getting large sums of money from LA County over and above their state salaries.
What happened, and the LA Times, to their benefit, they broke the story. I really didn't believe it when I first read it, and I'd never heard of these monies. And of course, we started looking into it, and absolutely, they were getting somewhere near $35,000 to $40,000 extra from the county.
Los Angeles County has been paying special judicial benefits to Superior Court judges for almost 2 decades. It's been the county's dirty little secret all along.
These are payments that I have to believe the judges really didn't think they were entitled to. This was money, it goes to integrity. If you have a corporation that you have stock in, and that stock is involved in that suit, they have to declare that, I own X number of stock. Well, here are the judges getting $46,000 extra from the county over to the top of their state salary. That just like that corporation, they should have declared that and said, I want to tell you this ahead of time. We do get this extra money from the county. And this is not a insignificant amount, $46,000. There are many people that don't even make $46,000 a year. And this is on top of almost a $200,000 state salary. Every survey will tell you that the LA County Superior Court judges are the highest paid trial court judges in the nation. Now that's the start. That's their base pay. If you totaled up all the money that these judges took for 10 years, it would come to something like $350,000 per judge.
Oh. Earlier this year, after Mr. Norris and Judicial Watch had succeeded in court in the Sturgeon versus the County of LA case to declare these payments illegal, the judges hired a lobbyist to get emergency legislation passed to protect themselves. SB X 211 was passed, hidden discreetly away as part of the California budget bill.
They put into this bill an immunity from prosecution. Immunity from prosecution for what? And liability for what? I've talked to several assistants to various legislators. They have never ever seen any of this immunity or excuse from liability in any kind of legislation, much less any kind of legislation dealing with the judiciary. Of course, I believe legally that is not valid. I do not believe you can immunize somebody after the fact. If you've committed a crime, I do not believe you can then come and say, okay, they had immunity. It has to be going forward.
Well, what does that imply?
Well, that implies they thought that there was a chance of criminal liability and a chance of civil liability. And they wanted to somehow preclude that from ever happening. And that, obviously, if you put that in the bill, that's the only intention you could have. Why, if you didn't think there was any chance of criminal liability or civil liability, why would you wouldn't deal with it? But I think it also goes to the mindset and to the integrity of the judiciary. What are we talking about here? They ran with $60,000 at least of the public's money to the legislature in order to save this $46,000 per judge thing, and then to put in a stipulation into the bill about immunity from prosecution.
Even more troubling was the reaction of the other law enforcement branches who came piling on in support of the judges.
When the Court of Appeals ruled in our favor, the county then petitioned for rehearing, and they rolled in about every legal force in the county: the district attorney Cooley, the public defender, all the bar associations, somewhere in the area of 10 to 15 various associations or organizations, all basically saying the same thing. We have to have this money to keep competent judges. And then came the appeal to the petition to the Supreme Court, Same thing. All these folks. And of course, to me, see, when the DA, the public defender, Gibson, Dunn, and Crutcher, all the major law firms come on the judge's behalf, what do they think then about the bias and prejudice in the system when they've gone to bat, so to speak, for the judges? I mean, that to me is unethical to have done that, to have said, hey, we side with the county, we side with these judges, and then what do they expect later on?
During our interview, Mr. Norris brought up some very interesting questions.
What we'd like to know, has the Los Angeles Superior Court ever paid another lobbyist to carry legislation? That would be an interesting question. And have they ever intervened in another lawsuit? And I'm just sure they never have. This is a first-time affair, and it shows again, like I've tried to say, something that lacks in integrity. When you have to have the judiciary wrestling over compensation, that the parties that are involved in this are judges. I mean, you have to say, I know most of society likes to look at the judiciary as something as probably the most highest integrity of any governmental agency, more than the legislature, more than the executive branch, and I think this goes just the opposite. Makes it very questionable.
It's been reported that judges in LA County have received more than $300 million in unearned benefits from the county. How many of these judges have disclosed these illegal payments? Do the LA Superior Court judges, when sitting in judgment regarding lawsuits against the county, disclose to all parties that they've received an unearned judicial benefit from the county? Who's standing up to these judges? You can find out the answers to these questions by watching the full show on your local cable station. Click on the feedback link and we'll send you the channel and airtimes in your area. Or you can purchase a DVD by clicking on the order form. Full Disclosure will continue to bring you the news behind the news.